Is it 15? Right.
Yeah.
15 goals.
Yeah, 15.
Right, okay, and you might argue, where were the goals scored? What opposition were they against? Blah, blah, blah. All right, forget that for the time being. All I'm saying is he's posted 15 with his head buried in the sand. Right? Basically for, apart from the first 2 or 3 months of the season, he then had injuries, he had COVID, he had that ridiculous interview, he got dropped, he lost his confidence, he didn't want to be there, and still managed to get 15 goals.
Yeah.
If he had his head right from the start, and not everybody agrees with tactics, and not everybody agrees with the way the manager plays, and sometimes you've got to put up with that, but if he'd had his head right, got around all that, forgot about Inter Milan, forgot about these interviews suggesting about going back to Italy, piling the pressure on himself, he could easily have got well into the 20s. Yeah. Easily. And then nobody would have said, had he not given the interview and he'd scored 25 goals, oh, this is a disaster. But he's brought it on himself. He's managed to get 15 goals playing with his head really where it shouldn't be. So it's basically just down to him, nobody else.
But what's interesting when you take a look at the history of big signings that Chelsea have made, we've kind of trying to put in inflation in this statistic as well, is that they have made so many bad decisions over the years and wasted a lot of money in doing so. Well,
Fernando Torres was as you know, at one point was arguably the best striker on the planet, but he was over the hill when he arrived, and
completely.
He wasn't. I believe it was Ancelotti at the time, and Ancelotti, I believe, did not want him. It was above his head, let's get him in. So there's not all been management decisions, it's been above their heads, but yeah, there's some good players in there. You could throw in, I don't know what he cost, but Shevchenko.
Yeah, of course, Shevchenko could be
the end of his career.
He was 31 million at the time when he made that move.
Who's the anti-American?
Well, it's interesting because you could say, Christian Pulisic, 70 million, but he hasn't failed.
Hey, Havertz hasn't. He just hasn't.
But I think the thing is, it's a lot of money for Pulisic, who isn't guaranteed a starting place. Kepa is sat on the bench. Lukaku wasn't starting.
Kepa was a disaster. I mean, he's been a good backup, but you don't want a backup at 75 million.
Yeah.
But his general. When he was the number one, he was not good. I mean, the players lost confidence in him. The crowd lost confidence in him. We saw games where, when he wasn't having a good game, the players almost, talking to each other about him, and it was just horrible. Whether he goes away and resurrects his career as a number one again, which I think he needs to do, he probably will, and he needs to do it fast. But the other ones are kind of squad players, aren't they? And I mean, that's where we are these days. It's a bit like saying, you get people like Diego Jota and one or two others at Liverpool and some at Man City. Jack Grealish, 100 million. Is he going to play every week? No, he's not. He's not Kevin De Bruyne, is he? He's not going to play every week. So they've not been brilliant, these players, but I suppose
the thing is,
it's the nature of the rotation of the game these days.
But for Jack Grealish, City are trending in very much the right direction, aren't they?
I mean, if we're looking at disasters, people will say Fernando Torres scored, what was it, in the Champions League?
Yeah, against Barcelona.
But as a general rule of thumb, I used to go down to Stamford Bridge back when we were covering games there, and the fans around us, the fans around where we were broadcasting from, were chuckling at themselves. He'd be falling over the ball and just doing stuff I never saw him do at Liverpool. He clearly had lost a couple of yards in pace.
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. And for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for premium content and live streaming, subscribe to ESPN Plus.